Happy birthday, baby. I have a surprise for you. Well, did you see your doctor?
No way. You know what they do to me?
This isn't normal for a man your age. And then what, Jack? We go home and you pretend to have a headache again? You've barely touched me and you get so attracted to me. Are you seeing someone else? Well, I have needs, Jack.
Neither can I.
I never imagined my limp, lifeless penis would rip my world to shreds and nearly force me to commit an unthinkable act. The story I'm about to tell you is deeply personal and at times embarrassing and shocking. Yet, it led me to discover a bizarrely simple, all-natural remedy that rescued my marriage, reignited my sex life, and gave me back the sex drive, stamina, and hardness I had in my youthful prime. Within just days, I went from a sad, impotent shell of a man to enjoying the strongest and most pleasurable erections I've ever had, and giving my wife the best sex of her life, night after night, all without pumps, painful injections, or dangerous pills, without any weird exercises, diets, or changing my lifestyle at all. And I'm not the only one raving about this natural home remedy. It's transforming the sex lives and love lives of thousands of men around the world.
I've been married to the love of my life for almost 20 years, and I thought it was normal for the sexual intimacy to end at a certain point. But this turned back the clock on our love life. It put the spark and excitement back in our relationship, and it's made us feel closer than ever. It goes to show you it's never too late. And for me, the benefits go way beyond the bed. I haven't felt this healthy and energetic in 10 or even 15 years.
I've struggled with ED for years, but this changed everything. My erections are as solid as when I was in my early 20s, but they're better because now I can control how long I go. I've got more sensitivity as well. The sensation is incredible, and when I finish, the intensity is through the roof.
So my husband John was having issues in bed. I thought it was just a temporary thing because of all the pressure from his job, but then it started becoming a real problem. I didn't know what to think. Was it my fault? Was he just not that into me anymore? So when I learned about this method, I went ahead and ordered some. It took some convincing, but I did get him to try it, and he absolutely loved the taste. A few weeks later, I was out shopping, and he called me and said, "Honey, you need to come home right now." Ever since then, we've been doing it almost every night. And you want to know the even better part? I swear he's gotten bigger.
My name's Jack, and if you're dealing with any form of erectile dysfunction, whether it's occasional limpness, finishing too soon, loss of desire, or if it's been a long time since you've gotten a hard-on, if your erections don't feel as full, firm, or as sensitive as they once were, if your sex drive has faded and you no longer feel that primal lust you should feel when you're with a beautiful woman, or if your soldier's working okay, but you want to deliver incredible sexual performance every time and enjoy the biggest, hardest, longest-lasting erections you've ever had in your life, then give me your full and undivided attention for the next 6 minutes, because you're about to discover the secrets of this 100% natural home remedy starting today. It doesn't matter how long it's been since you've had fully satisfying sex. It makes no difference if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or beyond. In fact, you'll soon learn about a 76-year-old man who thought he'd have a lifeless penis for the rest of his days. But now, thanks to this natural 7-second remedy, he's enjoying the thickest, stiffest, vein-bulging erections he's had in decades. Along with these astonishing success stories, you'll see undeniable proof from worldwide experts and clinical studies that this oddly simple remedy will work for you, the same way it's supercharged the sex lives of over 63,400 men. But I must be brutally honest, this may be your last chance to save your sex life before it's too late. Because when you're dealing with ED in any way, shape, or form, it's a use it or lose it situation. You need to be getting fully firm erections and using them. Otherwise, your penis is shrinking and dying a little more each day. Tissues are hardening and scarring. Urologists call this penile atrophy. And once you reach the point of no return, which may be closer than you think, the damage becomes irreversible. Once that's happened, there isn't a drug or surgery on earth that can resurrect your dead soldier. But in just a moment, you'll discover how to naturally restore the rock-hard, long-lasting erections of your youth, faster than you imagined possible, and make them even more powerful than ever. So you can get hard at the mere thought of having sex, go as long as you desire, and explode with higher volume, intensely pleasurable orgasms. As unbelievable as this may sound, it comes down to a Purple Hardening tonic that you can prepare at home using everyday ingredients in just 7 seconds. The reason you haven't heard of this breakthrough shouldn't come as a surprise if you know anything about Big Pharma. They don't want you to find out any of this because it poses a direct threat to their profits. You see, they rake in over $5 billion a year, getting men hooked on risky, high-priced ED drugs which do nothing to solve the problem and might wind up leaving you limp forever. More on that in a moment. I'm going to share some closely guarded facts that will disturb and alarm you. But first, let me properly introduce myself. My name is Jack Jordan, and I was the last guy who ever thought ED would nearly destroy my life. My beautiful wife Cindy and I live in San Diego, California. I'm a paramedic and Cindy works for a marketing agency. We used to have the kind of sex that other couples envied. I mean, we had our ups and downs, same as any marriage, but in the bedroom, we had a special chemistry. No matter what we may have been arguing about, sex was how we always found our way back to each other. But then things started to change. It was taking me longer to get hard, and when I did, it wasn't fully stiff. Sex was becoming a struggle. It felt like my manhood was slipping away. Some nights I'd get hard, but I couldn't keep it up. I'd go limp as a wet rag and wind up tugging on my shriveled manhood, praying for it to wake up. As embarrassed as I was, the confused, worried look on my wife's face made it 10 times worse. It kept happening until eventually I stopped trying. I'd be in bed with Cindy and she'd reach out to me, yearning for intimacy. But I'd tell her, I had a headache or I was tired from work, anything to avoid another humiliating failure. Cindy would force a smile and say, "It's okay," like a mother comforting her kid after losing a baseball game. But as men, we know it's definitely not okay. Not only does ED crush a man's confidence, it deeply affects women. She can't help feeling rejected, undesirable, unwanted. Yet none of this was Cindy's fault. She was as sexy as ever. I saw the way men checked her out, even guys half my age. Strength and trust in his plan for our marriage. Over the next few weeks, he sent me passages from the Bible trying to give me hope. But now I was consumed with more worries. I could tell Cindy was taking more care with her appearance, spending more time at the gym, dressing sexier. Who was she trying to look good for? It couldn't have been me and my puny, useless pecker. Then one Saturday I came home and walked into our bedroom. Cindy was in the shower. Her laptop was open on the bed. I saw she had been chatting with her coworker, Lisa. They were talking about some guy from the office named Antonio. "It's obvious he's got the hots for you," Lisa wrote. "Did you know he used to be a model? I found some of his pics." I recognized that punk. I met him at my wife's company Christmas party. He looked like some Mexican soap opera Latin lover type. Barely 30 years old. I remember thinking at the party, he'd been acting a little too friendly towards my wife. Cindy wrote back, "Stop it, Lisa, I have a husband, remember?" "Yeah, and Jack's a good guy, but women have needs." Lisa replied, "Believe me, I know. My husband Frank's equipment stopped working ages ago. I don't know how much longer I can take it." Cindy wrote, "I have to go." Lisa, "Hey, don't forget our business trip to Las Vegas is coming up. Antonio's going. Just remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas." I hadn't had a drink in months, but right then I needed to numb the pain. So I headed to a bar downtown. Hours later, I was standing on a rooftop high above the city, teetering on the ledge, lost in a haze of alcohol and despair. What did I have to live for? I mean, my masculinity and self-respect had been ripped away. I saved lives every day as a paramedic, but I wasn't man enough to save my crumbling marriage. Now I couldn't stop imagining Cindy being plowed by another man, a younger, more virile man who could go all night, pleasuring her in ways I no longer could. What happened next I can only describe as divine intervention. A text message arrived on my phone. It was one of Father Mike's Bible passages. Matthew 7, verses 7 through 8. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks, the door will be opened. I didn't grasp the meaning. Not yet. But it was enough for me to go back home and keep looking for an answer. Over the next week, I spent my spare time on my computer researching my problem. But all I saw was the same old advice, bogus pills and products, and more reasons to avoid ED drugs like the plague. Besides the well-documented risks of heart attacks, strokes, and vision and hearing loss, there's the chance of priapism, where the blood gets trapped in there and your heart on lasts for hours. The pain is excruciating, and you're likely to wind up in the hospital getting the blood drained from your swollen, deformed penis. Even worse, it can cause irreversible damage to penile tissue, meaning you can say goodbye to your boners for good. And there's another brutal side effect of ED drugs they never tell you about. Over time, you can build up tolerance. You need higher doses to get any effect, and eventually, they may stop working altogether, leaving you stuck with a dead noodle that no drugs or medical procedure can bring back to life. What's even more alarming is that mainstream medicine has been prescribing Viagra and Cialis for over 2 decades. Yet, erectile dysfunction rates are skyrocketing among men under 40 and even men as young as 20. But because the pills are an endless cash cow for Big Pharma, they aren't interested in exploring other treatments, even though the problem is only getting worse. I took a break from my research and checked my emails. I saw a message from my college about our upcoming reunion. When I saw the list of classmates who'd be attending, one name jumped out at me. My old friend Simon, the science whiz. You see, during our senior year of college, I was the matchmaker who introduced Simon to Diane, the woman he would marry. He was head over heels for her, but he was a nervous wreck. I had to coach him every step of the way. The last time I ran into Simon years ago, he was working as a biomedical engineer for a company here in San Diego, working on longevity treatments to extend the human lifespan. Suddenly, that Bible passage from Father Mike flashed through my mind. I pulled out my phone and read it again. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks, the door will be opened. Maybe Simon, with all his scientific knowledge, could provide some help. A few days later, I was sitting with him in his office. I told him my shameful story, and what he said next would change my life forever. Simon told me that a while back, his team had been working on a natural way for men to maintain full sexual function, no matter their age. At first, I didn't understand why, since his work was about human lifespan. But it all became clear when he started showing me eye-opening research from medical programs and universities across the globe. Scientists from London to Japan now say our sexual vitality as men has a direct connection to how long we live. Here's how Simon explained it. When you stop getting erections and having sex regularly, it sends a signal to your brain that your biological purpose to reproduce and spread your genes is finished. As a result, your body starts gradually shutting down. You lose muscle mass and store more fat. Hair falls out. It's like your body's saying, our job's done. Time to wind things down. But as long as you're getting fully firm erections and enjoying an active sex life, your brain says, this guy's still in the game. We need to keep this warrior going. So your body does everything it can to keep you alive and strong. Simon came up with a combination of ingredients he believed could keep a man's sex life going strong at any age. Better yet, they seem to heal and reverse the root causes of ED, so that with every erection you get, your penis grows healthier and stronger. For testing purposes, Simon mixed the ingredients into a daily drink which he called Purple Hardening tonic. There's a bizarre reason behind its purple color, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But first, in order for you to understand how the tonic worked, you need to know the truth about how erections work. The common explanation goes like this. When you get sexually aroused, neural signals fire back and forth between your brain and penis. These signals trigger the release of gas called nitric oxide, which causes the smooth muscle cells in the penis to relax. Blood vessels expand and open, blood flows in, and you get hard. But when you've got ED, your sex drive isn't what it used to be. Getting aroused is more difficult, and because of plaque buildup in the arteries of the penis, blood vessels are stiff and narrow. Picture a garden hose that's been sitting in a shed for years, clogged with crud and debris. Simon had designed the tonic to clear out arterial plaque, or, as he put it, unclog the hose, while boosting arousal, nitric oxide levels, and blood flow. But that wasn't all. He believed the true breakthrough was how the tonic affected a little-known molecule that's the hidden key to fully engorged, rock-hard erections. He said this molecule is the missing piece of the puzzle that other ED treatments overlook. It's called cyclic guanosine monophosphate, or cGMP. Simon called it the manhood molecule. Scientists first began to study it back in 1960, but for decades no one understood its pivotal role in erections. Nitric oxide got all the credit. But now, science shows that cGMP is the true erection activator, and it also determines how hard you get. What nitric oxide does is stimulate your body to produce cGMP, The faster these molecules are produced, the faster you achieve an erection. The more are produced, the more relaxed the smooth muscle cells in the penis become, and the wider the blood vessels open up. Imagine a rocket on a launch pad. Nitric oxide is the spark that ignites the engines. cGMP is the rocket fuel that propels it upwards and maintains the thrust needed to break free from the pull of gravity. Without a sufficient supply of this fuel, your rocket struggles to achieve liftoff. But when you're loaded up with cGMP, your erections launch into orbit. But there's one final enemy standing in the way of your erections, an enzyme in your body called PDE5. This boner killer enzyme stops cGMP molecules from forming. Drugs like Viagra and Cialis temporarily block the PDE5 enzyme, so erections are able to occur. Simon's tonic included ingredients that mimic the effects of those drugs, blocking PDE5 but doing it safely and naturally. Then, other ingredients stimulated massive, rapid production of cGMP molecules for maximum blood flow and erection strength. You can imagine, with this much fuel in your rocket, you won't maybe get hard, and you won't get semi-stiff. You're able to get the biggest, thickest, maximum strength erections possible, and not just for a brief window of time. Simon's testing showed that 1 glass of the tonic per day could keep a man primed for action at all times. When you're aroused and ready for sexual activity, that's when the full force of the ingredients kick in. And when the job is done, your penis returns to its natural, normal state with no after effects. I couldn't wait to try the tonic for myself, but Simon said it wasn't possible. The tonic wasn't ready. He'd just finished his first round of testing when his board of directors told him to terminate the project. They didn't explain why, but Simon suspected that one of the big pharma companies was behind it. A natural solution to ED could cost them billions in drug sales. Big pharma had all kinds of ways to shut down the competition, from legal threats to making sure Simon's company would lose its funding. My excitement faded as I'd feared I'd hit another dead end. Simon could see the desperate, defeated look on my face. For a moment, he sat there deep in thought, quietly staring at a framed picture sitting on his desk. He turned it around to show me, and it was a picture of him and his wife Diane and their 3 beautiful kids. "This is all thanks to you, and I've always wanted to repay the favor," Simon told me. "So look, here's what I can do. I'll tell you how to make the tonic so you can give it a try. This time, I'll be the coach. But don't expect any miracles, okay? The early results look extremely promising, but this tonic was only tested on a handful of men." A few days later, Simon emailed me with a list of the ingredients along with the links to some studies and instructions on how to make the Purple Hardening tonic. The first ingredient, spirulina powder, comes from a form of algae and gave the tonic its purple color. It's so packed full of energizing nutrients that astronauts take it during long-term outer space missions. One of these nutrients in spirulina is aspartic acid, which converts carbohydrates into energy for extra stamina and endurance. It's also rich in gamma-linolenic acid, or GLA. During physical activity, including bedroom activity, this nutrient activates fat oxidation. As part of this process, fat molecules are broken down to generate even more energy, so you can not only go longer and harder, you're burning off fat at the same time. Spirulina also improves heart function and blood circulation, removes arterial plaque, and contains antioxidants that maintain the health of the endothelium. That's what we call the layer of cells that line the interior blood vessels, regulating the flow of blood, oxygen and nutrients in and out of the tissue, including penile tissue. A healthy endothelium means stronger, healthier hard-ons. Spirulina sounded like a potent erection enhancer on its own, but that was just the tip of the iceberg, because the next ingredient was an amino acid called L-arginine. The body converts it into nitric oxide, which triggers the production of cGMP molecules. Research from Sapienza University in Rome showed that L-arginine significantly improved erectile function, while the Journal of Sexual Medicine reported on a study involving 50 men who took a daily dose of L-arginine and saw massive improvements in their sexual function in a matter of weeks. Next on the list, L-citrulline, which has a double whammy effect. It elevates nitric oxide levels for additional cGMP production, and it's a PDE5 inhibitor too, shutting down the boner killer enzyme. Furthermore, numerous studies show that when L-citrulline and L-arginine are combined, their effects are amplified. Semen volumes increase, as well as making your big finish more explosive and pleasurable. Then there was vitamin D3, which you've probably heard of, but here's what you haven't been told. According to a clinical study published by the International Journal of Endocrinology, vitamin D3 is an erection accelerator because it triggers rapid buildup of cGMP molecules. This was backed up by a study from the University of Milan in Italy, where 143 men achieved stiffer, longer-lasting erections from a daily dose of vitamin D3. And when the Medical University of Graz, Austria tested it on over 100 men, they discovered another shocking benefit. It naturally increases testosterone, the foundation of male vitality and virility. Higher testosterone levels mean a stronger sex drive and enhanced strength and stamina, because it stimulates the production of red blood cells that deliver oxygen throughout the body. Testosterone also boosts your mood and confidence, and it stimulates the growth of lean muscle mass while reducing fat deposits, helping you achieve more streamlined and toned physique. Another ingredient was beetroot powder. Runners take it to boost endurance, and it can make you a marathon man in the bedroom as well. Beetroot is a rich source of protein, minerals, and nitrates, which the body converts into more nitric oxide to fuel cGMP production. What's more, the British Journal of Nutrition says beetroot reinforces one of the most important effects of spirulina. It strengthens the endothelium and promotes a healthy flow of blood, oxygen, and nutrients to give you even easier, thicker erections. One more ingredient that stood out was niacin, which cleans out the garden hose by removing cholesterol deposits from artery walls and reducing plaque buildup. Beyond that, a clinical trial from the Chinese University of Hong Kong involving hundreds of men who suffered from moderate to severe ED found that niacin helps erections occur faster and last longer by enhancing blood flow and multiplying your number of cGMP molecules. Simon gave me a list of overseas suppliers that provided these ingredients in their purest, most potent form. It took a few weeks and cost me a small fortune, but one by one I was able to get my hands on them. Then I followed Simon's instructions. I carefully ground each ingredient to a fine powder, measured the exact dosages, and mixed them in a glass of water. The result was bright purple and surprisingly tasty. But would it work? Half hour later, I felt a pleasant tingling sensation. My penis was slowly inflating like a balloon. It was the first sign of life I'd seen in months. After a few minutes, the sensation faded and my soldier went back to sleep. I could tell there was definitely something to this purple tonic, but I figured I needed to take it for a while. So for the next 2 weeks, I drank a glass of the tonic every morning. I felt an unmistakable surge in my energy levels, and the effects of my manhood seemed to be increasing as well. I was getting excited when I was around Cindy, but I wasn't ready to make a move. I couldn't risk letting her down again. Then, one Sunday, I was grabbing a beer from the fridge, about to settle in and watch the football game, when Cindy came home from the gym. She was glistening with sweat, wearing a sports bra and tiny spandex shorts that showed off her voluptuous curves. My eyes were suddenly glued to her, like a hungry lion looking at its prey. I felt an explosive surge of arousal. A bulge began growing in my pants until it was nearly bursting through my zipper. Cindy looked down at my package with wide-eyed amazement. Then her eyes locked with mine. We didn't need to say a word. I grabbed her hand and led her up to the bedroom, and for the next hour we had the most intense, passionate sex we'd had in 15 years. It was like a sexual beast had awakened inside of me. I stayed hard as steel, in complete control. Cindy climaxed over and over again. Each of her body-shaking orgasms more powerful than the last. When she was too exhausted to continue, I released the most explosive load of my life. It was like a volcanic eruption. Afterwards, Cindy was curled up beside me, smiling and caressing my chest. She was looking at me in a way she hadn't in years, with utter contentment and admiration. And as we lay there talking, we cleared up all the hurt feelings and confusion. Cindy hadn't been taking extra care for her parents for some other man. She'd been doing it for me, to try to help us through our bedroom issues. And when I brought up the laptop chat and her worker, Antonio, she just laughed and looked at me like I was crazy. She assured me that I was her man. And now, I finally felt like one again. In the morning, I wake up to another pleasant surprise. I had morning wood like I was 18 again. Cindy was still passed out after the previous night's fireworks. I took her hand and guided it onto my throbbing hard-on. She gasped with shock and said, "Jack, I think you're cured." "Let's just make sure," I said with a grin. Cindy was happy to oblige. She climbed on top and we rocked each other's world for another hour. From then on, Cindy and I couldn't keep our hands off of each other. It was like we were rediscovering our passion for each other all over again. She was as thrilled with the purple tonic as I was. We'd send each other naughty text messages throughout the day, looking forward to another night of sexual fireworks. Sometimes we couldn't wait, so we'd race home during lunch break and screw like horny teenagers. I kept taking my Purple Hardening tonic, and its effects went far beyond the sexual superpowers it gave me. Every time I drank it, I felt a wave of energy and vitality flowing through me. I was a new man, full of life and ready to take on the world. My passion for the gym returned. I was able to pump iron like I was in my 20s again. Not only could I work out with more intensity, my recovery time was quicker. My belly shrank more each week as I packed on muscle mass. This had to be due to the tonic's natural testosterone-boosting effects. I was walking taller, overflowing with confidence. It was like I had radiated an aura that people around me could pick up on. Other guys gave me smiles and nods of respect. I caught glances from women who would have never noticed me before. It really makes you feel on top of your game knowing that anytime the mood strikes, you can take a woman on the spot and perform like a stallion. Now, at this point, I need to tell you something honestly. I never planned on sharing my secret. To me, it was a private matter, and I was just glad my embarrassing ordeal was over. But Cindy came to me with an unexpected request. She told Lisa, her co-worker from the laptop chat, about our spectacular new sex life. Now, Lisa was begging to know more about my Purple Hardening tonic. See, her husband Frank, who was in his 70s, hadn't been meeting her needs for years. Lisa felt as unwanted and unloved as my wife once did. So I prepared to supply the tonic for Cindy to give to Lisa and her husband. I was curious whether it could revive their love life too. I got the answer a few weeks later when Cindy and I were at her company Christmas party. Antonio, Mr. Latin lover himself, was there. But this time when he sauntered over to say hi to Cindy, she didn't miss a beat. "Hey, you've met my husband Jack, right?" she chirped, giving my arm a squeeze and planting a kiss on my cheek. Antonio's smarmy grin turned into a scowl. He beat a hasty retreat, tail tucked between his legs. But what happened later was even more gratifying. Cindy's coworker Lisa took me aside. She grabbed my hand and with tears in her eyes, she said, "Jack, my husband and I both thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I didn't think we'd ever be intimate again, but your tonic woke something up inside of him. It brought the passion back. We're happier than we've ever been in years. You'll have to tell me how we can get more." Lisa pulled out her phone and took a selfie of us. I didn't know she was going to post it to her social media the next day, along with a story about the miracle tonic and how it had saved her marriage. And because she tagged me on the post, soon her friends and their friends were filling my inbox with messages, sharing their own stories and asking how they could get their hands on the tonic. I wanted to help every one of those men and women because I knew firsthand how devastating ED is. And I didn't want to see more men get trapped in the cycle of taking risky drugs that can wind up ruining your sex life for good. But most of all, I felt God hadn't led me to this breakthrough just so I could greedily keep it to myself. However, I couldn't just send them all the recipe. I mean, a week's worth of ingredients cost around $200, and prices were only going up. It was way too expensive for a lot of folks. And preparing the tonic was a complicated, time-consuming process. That's if you were lucky enough to get all the ingredients. The overseas suppliers were often out of stock due to global supply chain issues. I was having trouble securing enough ingredients for my own use. This got me thinking, what if the ingredients could be turned into a powder so you could simply mix it in a glass of water and drink it in seconds? That would remove all the hassle, and if we produced a big batch, it would lower the cost. I met Simon for coffee to share my idea. He liked it, but he said the tonic still wasn't complete. My results had inspired him to go back to work on it, and he had been conducting more tests, away from his office, off the record. The tonic is highly effective in over 92% of cases, but I think we can do even better, he told me. I may know a way to take it to the next level and supercharge it. See, Simon had brainstormed this with his global network of researchers and figured out 3 booster ingredients to add. These ingredients are loaded with flavonoids, natural components found in plants that block the boner killer PDE5 and have other tremendous effects on sexual power and performance. The first booster was Panax ginseng, also known as Korean red ginseng. This powerhouse ingredient ramps up nitric oxide levels even higher and amplifies sensitivity and pleasure during sex, making every moment more intense. The British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology said men consuming Panax ginseng reported not only enhanced erectile function, but stronger sexual desire. What's more, it improves mental clarity and reduces stress, other crucial factors for peak sexual performance. The next booster was ginkgo biloba, which has been used as a sexual enhancer going back thousands of years. This ancient herb improves blood circulation and it optimizes oxygen delivery to vital organs, including your manhood, for more robust erections that stay at full strength until your big finish. Ginkgo biloba is also shown to elevate testosterone levels and helps maintain blood vessels and nerves that are essential for sexual arousal and function. The final booster was horny goatweed, scientifically known as epimedium. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's famous for its aphrodisiac effect. This powerful arousal enhancer keeps the neural signals between your penis and your brain firing smoothly. On top of that, researchers from the Chinese University of Hong Kong found that epimedium contains a compound called icariin. When you combine it with the niacin, L-citrulline from the original tonic recipe, you get up to 400% more blocking power against PDE5. Better yet, icariin has been shown to regenerate penile tissue. Here's where you can experience the biggest boost of all. As all the ingredients synergize, as damaged tissues regenerate, arteries clear out, and you've got consistent flow of blood, nutrients, and oxygen pumping through your soldier, something amazing begins to happen. It regains elasticity. And when you keep stretching it out with fully engorged erections and regular sex, it can actually grow. You gain size. The same as working out a muscle at the gym. With Simon's help, I put together a final test group to see how the tonic would work with the addition of the 3 flavonoid boosters. After 60 days, the results were astounding. Men who had suffered in silent shame for years reported their sex lives have been totally revived. Guys who used to lack confidence in bed and went soft or blew it too soon were giving women the most intense orgasms of their lives. Even men in their golden years who thought they'd never get hard again were having frequent, long-lasting sex. Here's what some of the guys from the test group said.
The difference it makes with my erections is incredible. But I also love the energy and lift it gives me. I even stopped drinking coffee because I don't need it.
Now my confidence has soared, and I'm the one that's initiating intimacy in the bedroom with my wife.
Thankfully, a friend of mine recommended a miraculous solution. The first time Jessica and I got intimate, I really delivered.
I'm literally feeling like 10, 15 years younger. That's not all. I've also been slimming down, which felt like totally impossible before.
Now that the formula was complete, Simon and I had put together a list of facilities that could turn it into a pre-made powder. Because we wanted it done right, we had a list of requirements. First, it had to be manufactured here in the USA. Next, the powder would need to replicate the formula in the exact ratios and dosages, and the exotic ingredients had to come from their original source. No cheap knockoffs. Then, the facility would need to use rigorous third-party testing, guaranteeing that the ingredients would be at the highest level of quality and that every scoop of powder would match exactly what's on the label. It took 6 months, but I finally worked out an arrangement with a first-rate, fully certified facility. And now, I couldn't be more proud or excited to introduce to you Nitric Boost, the world's first and only 100% natural, complete solution for male sexual function and performance. Nitric Boost is the next level of erection boosting science. It stands head and shoulders above any other ED remedy or sexual enhancer because it targets and reverses the hidden root causes that have been holding you down and activates a 3-step biochemical process called the nitric matrix. Step 1, boost arousal and neural signals between the penis and the brain. Step 2, block the PED5 boner killer enzyme, not partially, but completely, doing it more effectively than ED drugs and 100% safely and naturally. Step 3, ramp up nitric oxide and activate rapid buildup of cGMP manhood molecules, unleashing maximum blood flow and full-strength, long-lasting erections. Nitric Boost is completely safe, GMO-free, and 100% vegan and non-habit forming. It contains no caffeine or stimulants. The enhanced stamina and performance you get from Nitric Boost is clean and pure. Just mix 1 scoop of powder in a glass of water or juice, or take it with a smoothie or protein shake. Here's when you'll notice another special feature of Nitric Boost. It's refreshing and delicious. This is because when the formula was created, the ingredients were put through a process we call flavor fusion to remove any bitter taste from the herbs and plant extracts while preserving their full spectrum of benefits. Some men are calling it Mother Nature's Viagra, which has a nice ring to it, but there's really no comparison because those pills only give you a temporary band-aid. They do nothing to reverse the root problems or crank up sex drive, stamina, and endurance. What's more, Nitric Boost supports overall cardiovascular health, while ED medications can weaken sexual function over time. Nitric Boost clears out plaque and strengthens arteries, so you can enjoy a fully active, energized lifestyle for many years or decades to come. And by optimizing blood flow, Nitric Boost also helps keep your prostate healthy. With improved circulation, your prostate receives the vital oxygen and nutrients it needs to function at its best. And your body clears out waste products and toxins more effectively, keeping your prostate inflammation at bay. Every clinically researched ingredient in Nitric Boost has been carefully chosen, precisely measured, and laboratory tested to give you optimal benefits and fast, reliable results. This powerhouse collection of ingredients includes spirulina powder for healthier blood circulation and enhanced stamina and endurance. Nitric Boost also contains L-arginine and L-citrulline, 2 essential amino acids that raise nitric oxide levels and stimulates the production of cGMP molecules, the rocket fuel that makes you achieve maximum hardness. They also act as PDE5 inhibitors, shutting down the enzymes that disrupt erections. So once the action starts, you won't need to worry about losing your wood. Moreover, every scoop of Nitric Boost is fortified with vitamin D3, the erection accelerator that triggers rapid buildup of cGMP molecules and naturally increases testosterone levels. And you get just the right amount of niacin, which cleans out the hose by removing cholesterol deposits from artery walls and reducing plaque buildup. The powder also contains a trio of boosters that increase arousal and strengthen sexual performance. Panax ginseng, ginkgo biloba, and horny goatweed, which contains icarium. This compound has been scientifically shown to regenerate penile tissue so that you'll not only enjoy your hardest erections in years, they're likely to become larger than ever. That's just a quick glimpse of some of the natural ingredients in Nitric Boost. You don't need to take it before sex and brace yourself for a sudden rush. Just drink 1 glass a day at any time you want, and you'll be primed and ready whenever it's time to unleash the beast. At this point, I'm sure you're eager to get your hands on this and get started. So now you're probably wondering about the cost. But before we get into that, let me ask, what would it be worth to you to not only restore the unstoppable erections you had in your sexual prime, but make them even bigger, longer lasting, and more pleasurable, 100% naturally? What price would you be willing to pay to never feel another ounce of stress or anxiety when it's time to perform? To never have to worry about a woman leaving you because you satisfy her like no man can? How valuable would it be to erase any signs of ED forever? Not just be able to perform from now on, but to enjoy the thickest, hardest erections of your life. giving yourself and your partner the most intense, mind-blowing orgasms you've ever experienced. How would it change your life to have this secret weapon at your fingertips? A tasty tonic that keeps your sexual power at peak levels, giving you the power to get rock hard on demand and go as long as you want, and recharge fast. And along with that, higher testosterone levels, which not only boost sex drive and endurance, but also your mood, confidence, and mental sharpness, making you a peak performer, not just in the bedroom, but in all areas of life. Many men spend thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars on pills, treatments, and life-altering surgeries to get unnatural, unsafe erections that quickly come and go and can lead to a lifetime of impotency. This is why a lot of men say a simpler, completely natural solution would be priceless. When I first bought these ingredients to make my own tonic, they cost me around $800 per month. Nowadays, it'd be closer to $1,000. But your investment today won't be anywhere close to that. The normal retail price for one container of Nitric Boost is $197. The manager of our manufacturing facility said we'd be crazy to charge a penny less. It takes our facility up to 3 months to source the ingredients and produce a single batch of Nitric Boost, using state-of-the-art production and quality control methods. And because it's in powder form rather than capsules, it's more expensive to produce. But research shows that powder allows your body to absorb the nutrients faster and more effectively. And from the start, my focus has been on quality and results over profits. So because I don't want money to get between you and the healthy, satisfying sex life you deserve, you won't pay $197 per container. Not even close. Today you're getting Nitric Boost at the insanely low price you see below. But this is only while supplies last. Right now, these containers are flying off the shelf, and I can't say when the next batch of Nitric Boost will be available. This is why I strongly suggest you claim at least 3 containers. Looking at our order history, our most satisfied customers choose the 6-month, 6-container package. And not just because these packages give you the most unbelievable discounts. You see, the ingredients in Nitric Boost are proven to have build-up effect in your body, meaning your results become more powerful over time. The changes to your penis length and girth become more noticeable. About 6 months from now, you'll be at peak strength and size. That's why we applied the deepest discount to the 6-container option. What's more, when you order 3 or 6 containers, you get 2 bonus gifts worth $147 absolutely free. These are digital books you can read right away or on your phone, tablet, or computer. Or you can print them out if you wish. They'll get you started on the right track and lock in your success with Nitric Boost. Bonus number 1 is the Nitric Boost Blueprint. This manual is full of high-octane tips for getting maximum results with Nitric Boost. Learn the most effective times to take it for peak absorption and efficiency, foods that synergize with Nitric Boost to enhance its effects, delicious smoothie recipes you can use with the powder, and much more. Bonus 2, Marathon Man Stamina, is your ultimate guide to sexual endurance, giving you the power to go all night.